Hello, everyone, and welcome to Makeover Monday. Watch Me Viz for week 31, 2023, and actually it's July 31st at 3:31 p.m. So lots of 31s here. That's a bit strange. Let me mute myself here. I do have comments on my screen, both for LinkedIn and YouTube. So if you have any questions or comments along the way, please feel free to leave them in the chat. Let me mute that. There we go. Sorry, I was hearing myself echo. Okay, so yeah, let's get to it. So if you're new to Watch Me Viz, so this is a session where I take you through a data set I haven't seen before. Well, that's not true. I have seen it before because I prepared the data, but I haven't analyzed the data yet. We're going to look at the original visualization, and this week it's super simple. And then I'm just going to try to build some different visualizations, try to come up with some kind of story or some kind of insights, put together a final visualization, publish it out the Tableau Public, and that's it. So the idea is really straightforward, and I'm very happy that I get to do this for you. And please, again, ask any questions along the way. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me share my screen. Okay, what? That didn't quite work. Okay. So this is the original data source. This is the original article that we're looking at. It's drinking fountains in Milan, a very, very obscure topic. And I don't even remember how I found this. I think it's through the newsletter Data is Plural. It had to be where I would get something this random. Again, the data set is, if you've ever been to Milan, there's these drinking fountains all over. They have these little dragon kind of looking things on them. It's a very, very interesting article about the history of them, how big they have to be, what they mean, and all kinds of things. So this is the original visualization. So if you see here, we can see all of the different little water droplets for wherever the water fountains are located. And down here on the bottom right, we have this kind of map. I'm not sure what that does. Okay, so this is just an overlay here. It must be of the districts or whatever kind of information that is. And so the only data we really have, I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I have the data set open. I think it's this one here. Delimited, comma, finish. Okay, so we have an ID field, which is probably like a unique record for each individual fountain. We then have the NIL. I'm not quite sure what that means. So we have the municipality, the NIL. That must mean, maybe that means name in Italian. Maybe somebody could tell me that. So let's see, Italian. Let's see, English to Italian. All right, so Italian is, let's do it the other way around, NIL. So no, okay, that didn't tell us much, did it? So, right, so let me just try the other way around again. And name, so name is nom. Okay, so it's not that. Okay, it must mean something else. So let's go to the data set. And maybe there's a bit of definition in there. Now, one thing, if you didn't notice over on data.world, there are two different data sets. One is in a CSV format, and the other is in a GeoJSON. The only difference is that the GeoJSON field comes with the geographic field already built in, but we can also build that just directly through the CSV. Okay, so no comments yet. If you could, leave me a quick message in the chat to let me know where you're all calling in from. I know we tend to have people all around the world, the US, India, the UK. I think last week we had Spain and Germany. But yeah, let me know where you're dialing in from. And if there's one thing that you would like to get out of this session, please leave that as well. So where you're calling from and what you would like to get out of this session. So Kobe, Dallas, Texas. Good to see you, Kobe. And okay, so what was I looking for? Oh, so we might want to also, I was going to go to the data set. Let's see here. So if I go to the data source, and it's translating, that's fine. We could, so these are they're called widows, so the fountains. And let's see what this link does here. So URI of geo names. Okay, that doesn't help me very much. Let's try this. All right, that didn't help. So let's try something. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find maybe the linkage. Okay, so Ashik from London, you speak Italian, can translate for you. Excellent. So if you could, so we've got Mandip is also from London. So Ashik, if you could figure out what the NIL means. So what, here we go. Actually, NIL extension, what does this mean? Okay. Okay, that doesn't help me very much. What I want to try to find is maybe a shapefile or something that has the municipalities as a map. Okay, where else do we have people calling in from? So Lagos, Nigeria. Wow, that's pretty far away. What else do we have? Just learning new skills from London. Great. Nobody from YouTube is commenting, so you all are winning on the. Oh, no, we've got a couple comments from Dubai. Welcome for Dubai, Shaheen. All right, so I want to try to find. So let me go back here. So if I look at the data set, we have this municipality code. So what I want to try to find is a shapefile for that. So actually, maybe I'll just search and see what it says. Okay, territory areas of municipalities. Okay, maybe this is it here. And we have, what does this look like? CSV, GeoJSON. Okay, preview available. Okay, so this looks like it's all of the different districts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. So I'm going to download this file. Oops. Go back. Okay, so save link as. All right, so let me stick this in my Makeover Monday 2023. Oops. Data 2023. So Milan. I'm doing this because I'm going to join to this file. And then my downloads, I want to copy these two and put those in the same folder. All right. And then I also, while I was searching, I saw that there's also resident households by the data concerned a reconstruction of number. Okay, I was thinking that. So that's births, registrations. I was thinking maybe population. Population and society. Let's try that. Okay, so let's see what this one is. Reconstruction number of families residing in Maine of the base. Okay, so what's this look like? All right. So this could possibly be used as a way to do like maybe a per capita number, but I don't think I'm going to get that complicated today. All right, Indianapolis, Matt. Yes, Jaroslav from London. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect to the data in Tableau. And let's see, Makeover Monday data 2023. And my drinking fountains data. And then I want to also bring in the shape files for the municipalities. So to do that, I'm going to double click on my GeoJSON or on my, let me just go back here. I'm going to double click on my data source here on on my table here on the left-hand side. And then that'll bring up the join window, and I want to join to my municipality. So I'm doing a join because relationships don't work very well with, what am I trying to say? They don't work very well with geographic data. Actually, although I'm not joining on geographic data, so maybe it doesn't matter. Okay, so we don't want to go geometry to geometry. When we go municipo to municipo. And we want to do equals. All right, nice. Okay, so I'm going to need to look at a preview of this data. So here, municipo is a number. And then in this data source, what is municipo? Municipo is a string. Okay, so that's the problem. So municipo is a string in one and number in the other. So I need to change this to be a calculated join. So let's make this an integer. And then that should work. Okay, there we go. So now we have the object, the cap. I'm not sure what cap means. The ID nil. Okay, location. So I'm just going to rename this as longitude. And I'm going to set the click on the number, geographic role as longitude. And then this one is latitude. And location is just latitude and longitude combined. So I'm going to hide that one. Object ID here, we don't need. Municipo, we already have. So area might be useful because that's going to be, we don't need perimeter. So that's the size of the municipality. So we could look at some type of density. Shape area, we don't need. Don't think we need that. And then this one is our, I'll call this our municipality. Municipality. Okay. And then this is our fountain location. Actually, I think they call it a widow location. Widow sounds a bit morbid, but so we don't need the municipo number, so let's hide that. And I don't know what these other things mean. Cap is postcode. Okay, great, thank you. Name identifier list process. So Matt, name identifier list. Yeah, so it's some type of, maybe it's actually, I bet you it's the name of the fountain. That's probably what it is. Okay, anyway, so let's go over to our sheet, and I could start with just the municipality view, and this should give me all of the municipalities. Notice that it's just one record. So if you look down on the bottom left here, you can see it's just one mark. And that's because I haven't told Tableau how to break up this view yet. So I'm going to bring in the what happened to my other fields? Show hidden fields. I think I didn't mean to hide both of those. There we go. And we want to put that maybe on color, and we get a different color for it. So there's 9 municipalities. That looks good. So let's move that to detail. And then we could maybe just bring in the count onto the color. And now we can see where the most drinking fountains are. Okay, great. So that's the first sheet. So this is widows by municipality. Municipality. Okay. Bohan from Salisbury, Maryland. I like Maryland. My nephew lives in Maryland right now, actually. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this sheet, and I'm going to use show me, which I never do, but I'm just going to turn it into a bar chart. And let's flip that. And we can see which municipalities have the, let's sort descending. So this is where it gets a bit confusing. So you have municipalities have numbers, which is like a logical order. So if I go back, to me, it makes more sense to leave them in chronological order because my brain is wanting to order them 1 through 9 versus when I sort them. So I don't know, because I find that 8, 9, 7 a bit confusing. Anyway, maybe won't worry about that. So let's now look at I want to look at the names and see if we have any names repeated. Okay, so we do have some. Okay. Right. Okay, so that's good. So this is fountains by name. What did you say it was again, Matt? Cap is postcode. Name identifier list, possibly. Okay, that might be right. Okay, so now let's look at each individual location. So here's where they all are. And if I put the object ID onto detail, we get there's 658 different locations. Now, if I put the count onto size, everything should be 1, right? Because each one of them is counted individually. So that's good. That's what we want. But what I'm going to do now is it's kind of hard to see the concentrations here. So I'm just going to play around with some different visuals. So I'm going to start with maybe like a hex map. So these are my widow locations. All right, so let's create it. Oh, let me just quit all these apps down the bottom. So to do that, I'm going to first start with a parameter. So I'm going to call this my hex adjuster. And I'll just leave it at a float and hit OK. Let me show that parameter. And I do have a video on how to create hex maps in Tableau. All right, so we want to do hex x, and this is going to be hexbin x, and then we need to pass it the x coordinate and then the y coordinate. So the x goes left to right, so that's going to be our longitude, comma, our latitude. And then to make this, to be able to adjust the number of hexagons we see, I'm going to multiply this by our adjuster, multiply the latitude by our adjuster, and then divide that whole thing back by the adjuster. And I explain all of this in the video. And now we could make this geographic. So I can now assign this the role of longitude. So let me duplicate, and I'm going to make this one the latitude, edit the calculation, and make this one hex y. Only thing I need to change is hex y. Now, if I double click hex x, hex y, and let's put a number of fountains onto color, right? So we get just one mark. But now if I adjust the number of hexagons, you'll see when I put in 100, that didn't do anything. That's not helping at all, is it? Oh, okay. That's because these both need to be dimensions. So x and y, there we go. So let's edit the adjuster. Oops. Let's show the parameter. So if I make this 1, it goes down to just 1 mark. Let's make it 10, 50, 100. You see I'm getting more and more granularity. 200. There we go. So maybe something like that. And now I could put the count of fountains on color. So this is just a different way to show concentrations. And what I could do then is I could change this to a shape. Like we could, let's see, let me make it a shape. And we can just start adjusting the sizes, right? So now these are going to pack together nice and neat. We could, let's make it a circle. No. Yeah, there we go. So that gives us a circle, and it shows the municipality. So if we compare these two, so we've got this one and this one. So we can see the difference in the concentrations. It's just another way to look at it. So if I switch this maybe to 400, then I need to reduce the size now. And we can get something even, we can get something like that. So you can play around with the adjuster, and it's just another way to kind of show them in a grid. So these lay it out in a really nice XY type grid. If I change the mark type to a shape, and then click on my shapes, I can maybe make it a square. That doesn't look particularly good. Maybe a diamond. So diamonds don't look too bad. If we adjust the size a bit, we can make them fit nice and neat together. So that might be one option. I could also go to more shapes, and then I have a whole shapes palette here, hexagons. So let's try this one. I always forget which one to use. There we go. But those actually, the hexagons don't actually look that good, do they? They don't pack together very nicely. But maybe if I reduce this to, let's say, 300, and now adjust the size, do they pack together nicer? Not really. They don't really pack together very well. Okay, that's fine. So I think I liked maybe the circles the best, and adjust the size down. Right, so that's how you can do it with a hex map. Okay, the number of the municipio is actually part of the name itself. So there's municipio 1, 2, 3, etc. They represent different areas, usually using room. Okay. Okay, so they use integers. Thank you, Ashik. That is like super duper helpful. Thank you for that. Yeah, I get that the numbers aren't as significant. Okay, so what we could probably do then is if I alias these, I could make this like 1. I could just do Roman numerals, something like that. I think that's what you're saying. Something like that. Now, if we go back over here to our fountains, let's see this one here, and so now we need to fix the sort. So municipo default properties sort 1, 2, 3. Oh no, they're in the correct order. Yep. So that might make a bit more sense. So now if I do it, I could see number 8. So yeah, maybe these look more like names, I guess. So yeah, that's super helpful, Ashik. Thank you very much. Okay. Anyway, so that's how you could do a hex map with it. We could, let's see, what else can we do? There's not really a whole lot we can do with this data set, is there? Well, let's just start maybe with just the number of fountains, right? So there's 658 fountains. So let's go in here. I want to give them the proper name though. These are Milanese fountains. Okay, so oops. Let's go. All right, so we're going to make this a nice big number. Maybe make a Tableau bold, medium. Okay, something like that. So we have 658 fountains. We're going to center that and center it both ways. There we go. Now, a neat thing you can do, if you ever want to get bigger than the size that Tableau allows, let me just show you this little trick. Oh, why is it interesting? Oh, there we go. Center and center. There we go. So if I change this font size, so let's say I make this, what is Tableau has 72, right? But we want to go bigger than 72. If I click on the size shelf, I can now increase the size of my label. You see it's going, oh, no, that didn't work. That's not right. Sorry, I did it wrong. What I would need to do here is I'm just going to reset the view. And now if I click on the size shelf, I can, what the heck, why is it not working? I think we do it this. I'm lying to you now. So text size. All right, I lied. I could have sworn there was a way to make the font bigger than what Tableau allows. I know I did a tip on this before, but that's all right. Sorry. Fountains. So let's make this maybe 18. There we go. So 658 fountains. So total fountains. And we could look at them by municipality. Now, if I'm going to format this view, I would probably have this as with no background. So background layers. Actually, what we could do, we could make it match what they have. So they've got this like blue background. So I'm going to go into my mapbox account. Oh, it's been a long time since I've gone into this mapbox studio. It's been a very long time since I've done this. Okay, let's get rid of that. Okay, so now if I go to my dash, I think it's, so this has changed quite a bit. Come on. Here we go. So these are all maps that I've borrowed from other places. Navy, blank, gray streets. Here we go. this is similar to the one that they're using. So if I want to share this, I can then go here to third party and then Tableau. And I'm going to copy that link. And then if I go back over to Tableau, I can go to map, background maps, add mapbox map. And I'm going to give a name. So I'll call it light blue, paste in the URL. And now I have this blue background like they have, right? So something like that. So it looks pretty similar. So what we could do then is maybe we should change the colors. I don't know if that works very well or not. Let's maybe make this a white border. I think I need to change the blue colors. Let's see, let's go back to theirs. So this is more like a purple, but that's okay. Maybe I'll go with a more purplish color palette. Let's see what I have here. Let's maybe use this one and reverse apply. And then maybe we should put a border back on there. Okay, that's all right. I'll come back and play with the colors. After you load that map, save it as a TMS file. After you load that map, save it as a TMS file. Okay, so I'm not quite sure how to do that. I've never done that before. Maps, manage maps is here. Export. Oh, sweet, great. Thank you, Russ. I never knew you could do that. My Tableau repository. I'm guessing map sources would be the place to, oh, here we go, Mapbox Lite. Save. Fantastic. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Russ. That's really, really fantastic. Thank you. I didn't know that. Super helpful. So what I could do, though, is maybe on the background, I could probably like wash it out a bit. No, that doesn't really help either. I'm going to have to come up with a different color palette because that one does not work. I like the blue background. Do we have, maybe I'll try this one. Federal blue. I don't know where that came from. How about that? Does Milan have any colors? Does it have like its own? So it has its own red here. So maybe we'll try that. So let me try reds. We could do, I've got the Polish flag. I don't really like the Tableau red, but maybe I could just pick the color of this one. Try that. There we go. Okay, let's go with that for now. All right. So we have that, and then we have the, what happened here? What happened to my big number? Oh, there it is. And then we have the individual fountain locations. So maybe we could create a drill down that goes from this down to the lower level. And we can do that with, there's a couple ways we could do it. We could do it with either dynamic zone visibility, or we could do it with a drill down inside the map, which is actually much harder. So I'm going to actually, let me redo that. I'm going to do this as a, let me go here, color. Let me make this big. There we go. You can drag it into a map. Boom. Oh, that's great to know. Thanks, Ross. I really appreciate that. That's super helpful. Okay, so I'm going to create a calculate. Oh, sorry, not a calculated field. So I'm going to create a parameter, and I'm going to call this my map level. And this is going to be a string, and I'm going to call this, let's see, I'm going to make this, let's see, filled or dots. And hit OK, and let's show that parameter. Okay, so now worksheet, I see worksheet actions. And what I want to do is when they click on one of these, I want the map level to change. I want the parameter to change to filled. God, I always get confused with this. Let me see. I'm going to cheat and go back to something I've done before. Okay. So what I want to do then is dash worksheet actions. And when I click on add action, change parameter. So I'm going to call this update map level, and I'll call this one, let's see, I want to call this one filled. So the parameter is map level, source is keep current value. Okay, so I know that's not working yet. So let's create a, let's go back here. Okay, I'm just going to look and see how I did this. So we have, let's see. So let's see here, layout, control, bars and sales. And then this one is controlled by map and sales. Okay. And then dashboard actions. Why do I not have? Okay, map and sales. Okay, so we've done this, right? So we've got those two, and then we want to have parameter equal. Okay, so let's see, let's call this filled, and we're going to call this map level equals filled. Okay, that's fine. Create a, oops, not a parameter. Cancel. Create a calculated field. Let's call this dots. Map level equals dots. Okay, so then there should be, oh no, that's because I'm not doing it with a click. Okay, that's fine. Right. Let's call this filled to dots. Put that on detail. So now what this is going to allow me to do, if I go back into my action, and when I have my parameter to update the filled level, I'm going to populate it with my dots. And then keep the current value. Okay, okay. So now if you watch my parameter on the right, it's going to change to dots. Click off of it, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that one. And then here, I want to create another calculated field. This is going to be dots to filled. And this is going to be filled. Okay. And let's, so I guess the question is, do we want to do this one, or do we want to do the locations? Let's see. Okay, let's just do the locations for now, I guess. But this isn't really telling us anything, is it? Now let's go to the, let's call this our hex map. We're going to use this one. So we're going to put that on detail. And then worksheet actions. Change parameter. Update map level dots. We're going to set map level to be dots, keep the current value. Okay, okay. So now if I show the parameter again, and now I click on it, it should set it to filled. Okay, now I go back over to the other one, and it's set back to filled. Click on this one, it goes back to dots. Okay, so that's good. So here, let's go up to our map layers. Background maps, light blue. There we go. All right, so I still need to come up with a better color palette. Let's put maybe a darker border on these. Something like that, maybe even black. Okay, and then I need to come up with a contrasting color for this. I really wish there was a good purple color palette, but that's not a good color purple. what the color purple I'm looking for. So let me do it by, here we go. So let me just put, what are we looking at? I'll just put municipal and color as well. And the color I'm looking for is, I want to use this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to be a new color. And then I want to use, yeah, that's fine. Let's just try that. All right, so now if I go back here, I could change this to my purple color. Okay, how about that? So let's change this to 200. What's really annoying, I don't know if you noticed that, but when if I make the size really small like this and I go over to any different view and click on size, the size stays there. That is like so annoying. It doesn't remember the size differences on each. The size shelf doesn't remember where the slider was on each chart. So now even if I just barely touch that, now they're super tiny. Isn't that annoying? I really hate that. Okay, so let's go back and let's reduce the size a bit. I'll see, now it made them tiny again. Okay, I'm just going to try to get them to fit just right. Okay, something like that. And what if we say no border? The only problem with no border is the other ones get lost. So we could put a purple border on. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so now let's go back to this one and let's switch to our purple palette. Where was that? A purple. And then top end to purple. Okay, there we go. And I think Tableau typically has this a bit transparent so we can see the city information behind it. And then on the border, we want to choose that purple again. Oops, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a drill down to go from this to the other one. So let's format the view, get rid of the row and column dividers, and then format the view, get rid of the row and column dividers. Okay, and then we could let's get rid of that on color, and let's just set this to the purple. Actually, let's go back to that purple, because now we can look at kind of the rank of each one of these. Let's turn the labels on. Let's set the label to match the mark color, make it Tableau medium, maybe 11 point. And then let's format the view. Going to get rid of our grid lines, get rid of our zero lines, get rid of our axis rulers, and now we can also hide the header. Okay, so let's call this one, I'll call this one Fountains by Municipality. So we're going to end up making a drill down from this as well. Fountains by name. We could maybe do this one as well. But again, we don't know if it's name or not. I wish the size of the hexbins could be dynamic as you zoom in and adjust. Need to talk to my map dev team. You do need to talk to them about that, Ross, please. There actually is a way to do it based on counting the number of records in the view. So I'm pretty sure I've done it before. So if I, let's see, so I want to do, let's see, dots in view. I want to do a count. No, I want to do a window count of the dots filled. And it really doesn't matter. I just need to count something in this view. So now if I put this onto size, and then, so now that's way too big. Okay, so if I change my adjuster to something. I need to make this a range. And I think this will kind of work. So if I want to make one, I need to reverse the sizes. We just hit apply. Okay, so we want to make one. Why is it not changing the size? Well, there we go. Okay, let me leave it like that for now. So now if I change this to, no, because that's not the right, no, we want to count. I'm counting the wrong field. Dots in view. We want to count. Let's make a string hex x plus a string x y. Would that work? Right, so I want to count. Okay. Now, I think if I do a count distinct, Windows count of x times window count of hex. Oops, no, I want to do window max of hex x times the window max of hex y. Why is that? Oh, okay, so let's say I don't know if it's going to work or not. So we get, okay, so let me reset this. So it should be, so we should get 226 right now. But I'm getting, but that's not working. So I want to know how many hex x's I have. So 225, 225. No, I want to count the distinct number of hex x's. Let's see, dots in view. So I could do count distinct xx times count distinct x. Oops. No, I don't even need to do. I don't need to do it. Level of detail expression hex x times. Let's see. So what do we get now? So 1. Well, that's not right. Let's try this. $896 I'm getting now. But this should be 226. Let's make this. No, that's not going to matter. Okay, well, I thought there was a way to do it, but that's not working. So let me delete that. Change the size. All right. So now if I go, so I've got my fountains by name. Oh, we still didn't figure out. So Ross, I do think there's a way to play around with that. I just haven't quite figured that out yet. Oops. Let me go back. Sorry about that. Okay. And I'm looking to my right because that's where you all are located. All right, so we've got this. Surely this must be the name of the fountain. Must be. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. Okay, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the formatting, paste the formatting, turn on my labels, and then allow overlap. And let's maybe make them slightly thinner. Okay, something like that. Okay. This doesn't really tell us anything anyway. All right, so let's start thinking about a dashboard. So Excalidraw. Let's see, we want to do a reset the canvas, confirm, and let's save to, oh, we can leave it like this for now. Okay, so we're going to start with our dashboard. We know we're going to have our two maps that drill down. So let's say, well, actually, let's start with a title here. So drinking fountains in Milan. Okay, extra large font size. Okay, so something like that. We could put a line, maybe we'll stick a line underneath of it, whatever, doesn't really matter. And then we could have, so we've got the big number. So I'm just going to play with something now. So this is what, 658. Okay, so this is our 658. So what we could do is we could flip this and then hide that field label. And let's allow the overlap. That's fine. Okay, and then we're going to look at our bar chart. Just got to find my bar chart option here. There we go. So we're just going to put this here. This is kind of our bar chart. You can picture that being our 9 municipalities. And then over here, we're going to have a container that's going to have 2 maps in it. So can I search in this? I don't know if I can or not. Is there a map? No, I don't have one that's called. I don't have one that's a map. Let's see. It's just Google icons and doesn't help. Clouds. What else could we call this? Oh, well, that's okay. I'm overthinking it. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the municipality map. So we can just, let's just draw. How do we free draw in this? I forget this one. So this is going to be our high level map. And then when they drill down, that's going to swap out for, one with lots of dots on it. Something like that. So picture these kind of all around like that. Okay, so let's build that. All right, so let's go to a new dashboard and delete the phone layout. First thing I recommend people do. And I'm going to start by floating in my vertical container. And again, for those of you that were watching last week, I showed this as well. I do this so that I don't get a mess of tiled things down here in the hierarchy. So Kobe, on the original map, they used water drops. What is your opinion on using custom shapes like they did? So Kobe, I actually don't think it looks too bad on theirs. Because they're all the same size, I think it's, it goes with the theme. So that might not be a bad idea. I think it's okay. I don't have a water droplet image to use. So I don't know if I can get one from this thing or not. It doesn't look like it. Okay, I was hoping I could maybe get a water droplet icon. Water drop icon. Yeah, so you can get some of these from flat icon. So maybe something like that. So let's download. Let's see, copy that, free download. All right. So what I would do then is go to my downloads. I'm going to copy that, go to my tablet repository, shapes, and I'll just stick it in my, I think I've got one called, I'll just stick in here called icons, paste it there. Oh, I already have one in there. Drop. Oh, I already have one in there. Okay. So I must have that. So I could, let me go back and let me close this one. Don't save. So what I could do is back over here on my hex map, I could change this to a shape and then go to my more shapes and then icons, and then it was the drop. So maybe that. So we could do something like that. I think that's what you mean, Kobe. Yeah, the only problem now is I'm finding the background a bit distracting. Yeah, anyway, let's leave it as the water drops. I just need to make sure that I put in my credits at the bottom who that came from. So, all right, so I'm going to move this up to 1,800 and set some inner padding of about 20. I'm going to start by dragging in a text box. This is my, so drinking fountains, Milan. I'm sure somebody this week will come up with something much more interesting than this. So I'm going to make it purple, maybe 28, Tableau medium. Oops, Tableau medium, fountains. All right, and then I'm going to put in a, maybe I'll put a blank in here. Okay, and then I'm going to put a text box at the bottom, and I'm going to say the source is, let's go back over to, here we go. So Commune di Milano. You have to make sure, like, I can't just say flat icon here because that's not, flat icon is just the distributor of it. Flat icon doesn't actually own it. So I'm going to copy the link here and let's just see what this says. Where can I paste this? Where's Tableau? Here we go. Or something like that. So I'll probably do it like this instead. Actually, I probably could just say vector markets. Okay, something like that. Let's make this 8 and let's make it a lighter gray. Okay, so now I have, if I go back over to my Excalidraw, I'm going to have a container here. Let's see, actually, I'm going to have a container for these two. All right, so let me color code that maybe green. And then I need to have a container that goes left to right. So something like this. So let's make this one orange, right? So this is what my 2 containers are going to look like, or 3 containers. So I've got 1, 2, 3. All right, so I need to bring in, so this orange container is going to be a left to right container, so a horizontal container, and I want to get that between the text and the bar. All right, so that's that. And I like to drag a blank in there first just as a placeholder. It just makes it easier to drop other containers in. Okay, and now we need a vertical container. So let's drag a vertical container inside of that horizontal container on the left-hand side. Okay, so now I want to bring in my total fountains, and I want to bring in my bar chart. Where's my bar chart? Here we go, and put that there. All right, so we get something like that. Okay, so now we can maybe edit the width of this. Let's make it maybe 300. Okay, and then we could edit let's hide the title. Let's edit the height of this one and make it maybe 200. And then let's make this one fit entire view. Okay, great. Now this I like the size of. Actually, I need to probably add a bit of padding at the top. Let's make it 10. Okay, and then I can fix the size of that. I like the size of my top, so I'm going to fix the size of that. Okay, so now I've got this blank over here, which is still serving as my placeholder. And so now I'm going to drag in it doesn't matter whether this one over here is vertical or horizontal. So I'm just going to put that container in there. And I want to drag that into the map, into that container. And then I want this one in the same container. Okay, so let's hide the title. Hide the title. Now we've got all this crap in the background. So this is where Tableau adds all this tiled stuff, which is like stupidly annoying. So I'm going to remove that. All right. And then let's edit the width of this and make it 10. Set the background to our purplish color. And then let's make the padding maybe 20 all around. Okay, so now it's dividing things out really nice. Okay, so now on this, well, let's map options. Let's get rid of the controls and everything. Same thing for this one. So map options. Let's get rid of all the controls. And we want this one to go to dashboard. Let's say layout, sorry. Control visibility using. And we want this to be, oh shoot, which one is this using? Let's see where to go here. Map, filled map. There we go. So this is using filled to dots. So yeah, so that should be filled. And then this one, nope, so that's backwards. And then this one should be use filled. Okay, so now if we set up, we go back to our actions, and we could set this up to be a dashboard action instead. So we just switch it to dashboard. And it's only our, which one is this called? Widows by municipality. So it's just that one sheet. Click on OK. And then this one, make it a dashboard action. And it's only our hex map sheet. Okay, so we click on one of those. Oh, it did nothing. That's great. All right. So dashboard actions. Okay, I'm going to, I'm just going to remove both of these and start over. So we're going to add a parameter action. So let's call this update. So I'm going to call this change filled to dot. So I only want to do the filled map. On select, I want to update my map level, change it to filled to dots. Click on OK. And then let's add another parameter action. change dots to filled. This one's going to be just our hex map level, dots to filled. There we go. Okay. Hey, Andy, why are you floating the first vertical container? Just being curious. So Pablo, I think you may have missed that part. Maybe you joined on after that, but I do that so that we don't get all of that extra tiled stuff in the item hierarchy. And I do that in pretty much every dashboard. You're welcome, Kobe. I do that in pretty much every dashboard that I build. It just helps organize the item hierarchy better. And my whole series of videos on using containers is shows how to make all of that work. So there's 4 videos in that series. Okay, so let's see if this works now. So that, and it's not working. Great. Okay, so let me just try something. So here's an example, Pablo. I showed the parameter, and now Tableau added in all of these extra objects down here on the bottom, when really I only need this one thing. So for now, I'm just going to float this just to get it over here. I'm going to get rid of it later, but I'm just using this for testing now. But that's why, Pablo. Okay, so filled. Okay, so I must have this backwards. Okay, dashboard actions. Filled to dots. So when I click on a dot, it switches it to filled, but it's not switching. Okay. So this one should be controlled using dots. And then this one should be controlled using filled. Okay, there we go. So now it's working. It takes a lot of playing around with. Okay, so now I can get rid of that. Right. So this, I'm going to change my layout so the top is 4 and the bottom is 4, so it's the same layout as the map. Okay, let's call this let's go back to this. Okay. So I think what I'm actually going to do So I'm going to get rid of this title in the dashboard, so I just have this label down the left-hand side instead. So I'm creating kind of like a dummy header. Okay, so let's get rid of our row divider. So now if I go back to my dashboard, now I can hide the title. And let me format the view again. So my 0 line, let's see. No, this is going to be my I don't want my column dividers either. There we go. So I could put a 0 line on. Let's do that. And let's make it purple. So I could do something like that. Doesn't look very good though, does it? So so now this looks at my municipalities. This color is not right though. It's not dark enough. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's almost too bright. Okay, yeah, I don't like that. Okay. Right. So the background here. So let's have a look at the background layers. And we could get rid of some of these objects, and maybe that'll make it tunnels, roads. Do we want roads? Probably do want roads. Borders we don't care about. Labels, road labels we don't care about. Okay. So we definitely want the background. Okay, so let me go back to my mapbox maps and see if I have another one that might be better to use. Let's see. Oh, here we go. How about ice cream? So share, third party. Okay, so now, according to Ross, I should be able to go in here. Let me just go to one of these maps, map, background maps, add mapbox map. So this would be my, what is it called? I think it's called ice cream. What was it called? Ice cream. Okay, and now I should be able to go to background maps, manage maps, and then ice cream, export, save it in my maps, and click on save. So if I understand Ross correctly, I should be able to just go over here to my map sources. I wonder what this actually looks like. So let's open this up. So, okay, so it's just XML. That's fine. We could drag that onto here. Let's see what that does. Oh, didn't work. Okay, light blue. Let's try dark. Oh, didn't work. Okay, well, it was worth a shot. Okay. Stopped in to say Mike Herm. Well, hello, Mike Herm. Is that Mike Herm from baseball? It is Mike Herm. Oh, yeah, it is. So Mike Herm, for those that you can see on the chat here, he and I went to university together and played baseball together. Nice to see you, Mike. Thanks for joining. All right, so I think I'm pretty much done. So now I need to switch the background of this one as well. Map, background maps, ice cream. Yeah, I think that's better. So now, okay, and now I want to turn on filtering for this. So I'll just do that. Click on that, and it drills in, which is good. Goes back. Very good. Okay, click off. Okay, that's not great there, but that's okay. All right. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Nothing particularly beautiful, but some techniques that hopefully were useful for you. If there's any last questions, please pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and get going and get on with the rest of my day. So this just drills in. This is a great use case for dynamic zone visibility. I actually probably should work on my tooltips here. So no tooltip, we don't want those. For these, we do not want this in our tooltip. Municipality, okay. So I'll just call this Municipo 10. Okay, so that looks good. And then maybe, so hex maps. So let's go to tooltip. No, we don't want this in the tooltip. Now the dots to fill here isn't really very useful for us. Sorry, the hex and all we want here is just tens. We just want the big number. Right, so 7, 13, 8, etc. Now what we could do is, yeah, here we go. Yes, that looks pretty good. The only other thing we could do is allow them maybe we could possibly allow them to control the level of granularity for the teardrops, but the only problem with that is if we do that, then when if we allow them to change the number of drops they can see, it will then it won't adjust the size automatically. So that's where we were having that chat earlier about dynamically changing the size with Ross. So if we could somehow dynamically change the size of the hex maps, then that would be great. Yeah. So for example, if I switch this to 100, then we get something like that. Now, what I could probably do is let's see. What if let me see. Let me edit this. And I can make it a list. And let's make it 100, 200, 300. Let's just try it like that. And then let's make this a slider. Okay, so 300 doesn't do much more different than 200. Okay, 100. So maybe what we could do then is we could put the hex adjuster onto size, and we could set the start value and the end value. And then we want to do it by the range. And we want to reverse the range. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so these need to be a bit bigger. Okay, so let's try this. Let's go to the dashboard. Okay, so when it's 100, they're a bit too big. Okay, so let's go back to our hex map. Make these a bit smaller at the top end. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then if we switch this now to, oops, hex map, let's make this 200. Now, how does it look? That looks pretty good. And then what was the other one? 300. And that looks okay too. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. 100, 200, 300. The only problem now is the background. So let me I need to fix this view because it's too much. We don't want road labels, but we do want. Yeah, the only problem is we can't see the light gray ones. Okay, so let's have another look at the color then. So I'm going to start the color at 2. No, I want to start it at 0 actually. Okay, and it's 7. Okay, so now let's see if we can see those better. Okay, yes, so that's better. Okay, and then this one. We want to set the map up the same way. So what did I do there? Format. Nope. So background, roads, and that's it. Okay, we want the place. We probably want the place labels. Yeah. So background, roads, and place labels. Background, roads. Okay. And we could then, okay, just going to keep making some adjustments here. So let's edit this, and we could display this as, oops, we could say, let's say large, medium, small. Right, so now this allows them to control the size of the dots. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do then is I'm going to, yeah, I can, yeah, so let's show the parameter hex adjuster. And again, it goes into this hellhole of a tiled section down here. And then let's float that and then delete this. And then what I could do here is I'm just going to put this in the corner, and I'm going to call this drop size. And then let's format that. Let's give it a border and give it a background of white. And then let's give it some padding of maybe 10 on the inside. And let's make it a bit bigger now. Maybe something like that. Okay, so now I can change this. Let me change that to more of the dashed lines. There we go. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let me undo the fix map. So I think I can probably increase the sizes just a little bit. Yeah, so let's go back here, size. So this is really just a lot of formatting at this point. Okay, and then I click on one, it goes to that. I could probably link this with, let's see, no, I don't want to do that. So I want this to disappear when they go back to the main view. So this one is linked on dots. So this one I want to also link on dots. So now when I click on one of these, that disappears. So the drop size only shows up now when the drops are in the view. Yeah, so really fun exercise. You've got quite a lot to learn. All you Wasai, I've been using Tableau for 18 years, so don't get discouraged. It takes a long time to learn all of this. But yeah, this was a really fun exercise. I hope you enjoyed it. How are two maps showing in one? What step was it? So Mandeep, this is where it's not actually two maps in one. It's actually two maps. I'm just using dynamic zone visibility to make them show and hide. Now, actually, one thing I should probably one thing it's not doing is it's not drilling down. So what I wanted to do is when I click this, it should drill down to just those in that area. But that's okay. Maybe this one. Come on. What happened to my title? Okay, so we click on, let's just put this up here. Okay, they click on a dot, it goes back to municipal level, and then let's show the title on this one. What the heck? Oh. Okay. So I think that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you learned something today. I have really enjoyed this session, and thank you everybody for tuning in today. If you have any questions, you can reach me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Feel free to reach out and say hi. And hope you learned something today. If you could, in the chat, before we drop off, in the chat, leave a comment on one thing that you learned today. All right, just real quick. While I'm going to go ahead and get this published, but leave something in the chat with the one thing you learned today. Right. So nobody has said they learned anything yet. So on YouTube, nobody's leaving really many comments. So let me refresh YouTube and see if anybody's left any comments on there. Okay. Very few comments on YouTube today. That's really surprising. It's usually where most of the comments come from. Just making an interesting and simple dashboard. Yeah, so Mandeep, that's a good point. There's nothing complicated at all about what I built here as far as the look and feel of it. So week 31, I'll bring that to the first sheet, and then I'm going to go ahead and extract the data so I can publish it. And that's fine. We'll save it there. Save the workbook. Nope, Makeover Monday, 2023, week 31. Drinking fountains in Milan. Okay. Nobody else has anything they've learned today. Oh, that's kind of disappointing. Surely you've learned something. All right. Okay. Well, the other thing I would do though is when I publish this up, it doesn't really. I want to show the interactivity. What I like to do is I use a tool called CleanShot, and I'm going to record my screen. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm first going to put it in presentation mode. And then I'm going to record my screen. And let's see, I'm going to reset the size to 10 by 8. Okay, and then do this. And then I'm actually going to record it as a GIF. So now when I click on something, you can see it drill in, click back out, click on a municipal, drill in, and there we go. So everything works great. And there we have it. So click on one, change the size again, click on a municipal, change the size, go back to that, change the size, go back to that. There we go. So that covers all the functionality. So then I stop the recording. I let it create the GIF. I edit the GIF, I trim it down, and that's all there is to it. So thank you everybody for joining today, and I appreciate your time. I hope you learned something, and I will see you again next week. Bye.